Okay, we got I used to be paid. The dying future of rap interviews. Let's check it out, man. Cause I'm okay with his stuff too, man. I be checking his stuff on and off too. So let's check it out.
What's good, YouTube? It's Justice. I used to be paid, and today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the dire future of rap interviews. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It helps me out a ton. And honestly, the interview space is something that I want to kind of dive into sooner rather than later. So me making this video might just be my introduction into interviewing people, and you might start seeing that more often on my channel. Who knows? But I just wanted to kind of set that out there, that this is me kind of jumping into the interviewing space, and not only jumping into it, but pointing out some things that I think are major problems and will probably be major problems for the foreseeable future. Media always has been and always will be a major part of the music industry, and rap is no exception. To take it even a step further, interviews have been a staple of rap culture since rap's inception. Interviews used to be the primary media that fans went to in order to learn more about their favorite artists, right?
It really is. It really is. That's how I got into it. Like like when on 106 and Park, when they used to do it, like when AJ and Free Brain, like Bow Wow or someone, and you just get to know them and all that good little stuff. But I could be overthinking and stuff. But that's just me though.
Right? Because not every single artist is giving up a whole bunch of their personal life and their music. So when fans had questions like, "Oh, what was it like growing up? Did they grow up in the streets? What was their family like? Did they grow?"
Yeah, like I said, 106 and Park. It was I think Freeway. No, Sway. Sway in the morning. It's about you, bro.
Grow up in the church? Who inspired them to make music? What were their favorite artists growing up? Like, all of those questions that fans typically have for their favorite artists were answered via interviews. And interviews have just always been so important to the culture.
But now more people go on the Breakfast Club now. That's pretty much all I hear now, man. I don't even get on the radio anymore. I don't even listen to the radio like that anymore. I just see what's on my opera.
Rap, and we've gotten so many iconic moments from rap interviews.
Been covering for so long. I'm glad they succeeded, man.
Bro, I ain't gonna hold you, man. When I saw this right here, man, I did not like this. Was very unprofessional that on what Joe did. I did not like this at all, man. I'm like, come on, Joe. This was a major L. It was a major L for Joe. To me, there was a major L, because I did not like that, man. You supposed to keep it professional, man. Like, bro, I did not like that. Shout out to the academia and whoever that chick is. But I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit, man. I was so hot when Joe did it, man.
Hey, man, you guys are nominated tonight. Have a good show.
I did not like that, man. I did not like that.
Yourself.
How, Sway?
Take a few steps.
Sway in the morning. I was talking way back in the day. Sway in the morning when I had to watch beat. He was on MTV 2 or MTV.
Back.
You don't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
But one thing I like to pride myself on is how I observe the world around me and just basically see how it's changing. And something that really brought this video to the forefront of my
most likely now, like, some of them rappers, they go on the streamers now and like try to do try to get to know them. Something like that. I think get to know them and all that type stuff, to chill.
Mine was the recent Cat Williams interview that just went super viral and took over the year of 2024 as we're like half of a month in. It's pretty much everywhere. It's 3 hours of content, and
it's real good too, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. It good too.
Almost every single segment of that 3 hours of content has gone viral at some point when somebody uploaded it online. Like, it's just literally content gold that's just sitting in Shannon Sharp's hands, and he's just giving it out all over the internet. So I've seen that interview, and it made me think of a lot of the issues that I have with modern day rap interviews. Before I start listing off the problems that I have with rap interviews now going into the future, I just want to say there are still people out there doing good interviews. Like, it's not all trash. It's not all garbage content. It's not all no jumper. I would say somebody like Ebro still does pretty good interviews. Breakfast Club does pretty solid interviews.
Yeah, Breakfast Club. They, like I said, the Breakfast Club, they still do okay. I don't really listen to them like that anymore, but yeah, they alright in my book. They still okay in my book, man. I mean, I know she got her own little thing going on, but yeah, they alright. Cause like I said, they play on the radio now.
Interviews. I would say Academics at times has some pretty good interviews. Nardwar does good interviews.
I don't really check this guy out. I gotta start checking him out a little bit too.
And Joe Budden. I don't know if I said Joe Budden, but yeah, like there's
like I said, I like Joe, but like I said, when he did the one with the Migos, that was some L. That was an L for me. But I still, I still rock with him. But that was an L right there. That was his. I gotta give him that first little L.
Still good interviews out there, so I don't want to get on here and be like, oh my god, every rap interview is trash. But I'm gonna start showing you some of the problems that I have with the interview culture that we have today that is only growing into the future. As we go on into the future, there seems to be two types of interviews that are really becoming prominent inside of rap. There's only really two. There's the coddling the rapper, babying the rapper interview. And then there's like the reckless, trashy, just trying to stir up some beef, stirring up beef between gang members interviews. Those are really the only two ones. The coddling of a grown man interview, and then the whole like trying to stoke up beef interviews.
Yeah, I don't like the beef interviews ones. I do not like those, man. I'm like, I see what they be doing, but I'm like, I just keep quiet on it. But I'm like, I guess some people, like I said, I guess certain audience like that type of stuff.
Those are really the only ones that exist right now. And the whole coddling of the rapper thing really exists just because rappers have massive egos. Like they always have. It's always been a thing. It's not anything new. And honestly, they're not the only like section of famous people that have massive egos. But rappers have massive egos. So in order to do an interview with a rapper nowadays, at least a lot of the time, you have to coddle them. You have to give them baby answers. You have to throw softball pitches.
I ain't gonna. Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that, bro. I'm sorry. I've been noticing that. I noticed that I'm talking went way back where they what her name is? Joe and Carly B did the interview. I'm like, man, I cannot take this serious, man. Like, bro, if y'all see how you see the game, man, you see how they play, bro. But like I said, man, they gotta be easy on them. They gotta be easy on them. But like I said, it is what it is. like who you fooling, bro? Y'all ain't fooling me though. Certain people, you ain't fooling certain people.
At them. You can't ask them any tough questions. And as soon as you do, they just get up and leave the interview. You pretty much can't ask these rappers anything that's tough, anything that's relatively a hard question to answer or is, a little bit in depth about their music, or maybe you're asking them about some things that they were involved in. It's done. The interview's over.
Yeah, they're gonna walk out, bro. They're gonna be like Birdman. What he said? Dang, what Birdman said? Put some respect on my name.
Or they're just going to say, next question. It's almost impossible to ask a rapper anything that is a tough question, anything that's tough about their music, anything about criticism. If you bring up, hey, your last album didn't do so well according to the fans. How do you feel about anything that is...
Well, I'm pretty sure they got like a manager back there, like telling them like what you can tell them, what you can tell certain rappers, hey, you can tell them about this, that, that, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that with the interviewers and the manager, they go into discuss. I don't know. Something like that, I believe.
Like somewhat negative, they're just not really going to answer it most of the times. They're just going to get up and leave the interview. Or if you ask them a question about something that they don't really want to talk about now, it doesn't have to be anything like, where were you on the night of January 12th when this dude died? Like, I don't mean those type of questions, but I mean questions that are a little bit tougher about their career. Hey, man, a lot of fans have been saying that you've been, entering a rough path. People have been saying that your music's kind of falling off. How do you feel about that? Anything that's not...
Well, I respect the rapper that's gonna like straight up like be honest and let them know like, hey, man, can't stay up there too long. It is what it is. Be honest. I can respect those ones that gonna like be straight up honest, even when they getting asked about tough questions. I respect those. I respect them more about when they do stuff like that though.
Oh my God, your last album was great. You're going to get a negative response, or they're not even going to answer the question. They're probably just going to leave. And it's resulted in clips like this.
Amount of time that you're a great father. How important is fatherhood to you, man?
Not really big on it, to be honest.
What do you mean by that? You're not big on it? Like you're a family man. I'm here with you. I see it.
Yeah, but I'm only out. I'm only like in here because you here.
Oh, well, I don't believe
it's a crazy topic because I'm not.
And I forgot to say this while recording, but another example, actually the biggest example that I've seen in recent times of coddling a guest by an interviewer was the 2 episodes of Drink Champs that Kanye went on. Those were absolutely disgusting. Like, this was peak Kanye saying his most unhinged takes, shooting from the hip, just saying anything, and they would just clap along like seals after whatever he said. Just sat there, listened to whatever the hell he just said, and just clapped along with no pushback on anything. This was peak anti-Semitic Kanye, anti-black. George Floyd didn't die from the knee on his neck, and there was just like no pushback. They just sat there, listened to him, and started clapping. Now, obviously, We all know why, right? This was Kanye at his peak anti-Semitic rants. Like, we all know why he got that interview. We all knew what type of time he was on, and they knew what type of time he was on, and there was no pushback. Because at that time, when Kanye got in an interview and they didn't want to play his Jewish game, they didn't want to say, the Jew. No, he would just leave. He would just get up and leave. So they knew, hey, man, we want this Kanye interview, so y'all gonna shut the hell up and clap after the man say whatever he gonna say, because we need these views. It was one of the nastiest interviews I think I've seen in a very, very long time.
I haven't saw this interview right here, so that's why I don't really know what's going on. I haven't saw this interview right here though.
I mean, honestly, I don't know why they deleted it. Like, I don't get it. Y'all knew what type of timing he was on before y'all got the interview. Y'all knew what type of timing he was on while you were sitting there interviewing.
Oh, and they deleted it?
Him. Y'all knew what type of timing he was on when you first.
They probably private it.
Edited the video. Y'all knew what type of timing he was on after you watched the edited video. Y'all knew what type of timing he was on when you posted the video. So now why delete it? Why delete it afterwards? You already knew what was going on. You already knew what he was saying. It was clearly just because they knew the backlash was really, really bad. But that was one of the nastiest examples I've ever seen of coddling a guest. Like, they just let him do anything. Now, obviously, YoungBoy is like a very extreme example of this, but it's still an example that is relevant. It's still something that happens in a lot of interviews. You can't really ask difficult questions. You can't ask any question that's somewhat negative. You can't offer any pushback to whatever they're saying. If you say, I don't really know, fans were saying they didn't really like that album. Well, your album didn't really sell what people thought it would. Like, any sort of negativity, pushback, they're not going to answer the question. They're going to get up and leave. And honestly, most of this is just because of the plethora of places you can go for an interview. If you're with a rapper and you're interviewing them and you're not going to edit it a certain way that they want, you're not going to send it to their team and let them edit it and then give it back to you. If you don't play 100% into rappers' hands, a lot of the times your interview either isn't going to come out or you're just not going to get it, because they don't have to go anywhere specifically for an interview. There's
I was gonna say, I was just about to say,
nowhere where you have to go as a rapper specifically for an interview.
Yeah, like Drake don't really do interviews like that.
You can go pretty much anywhere. Anyone is doing interviews nowadays. So it's not like you have to go, I have to go to Hot 97 to do this interview. No, if they don't want to edit it the way you want to edit it, fine, I'll just go somewhere else. If they're not going to ask you softball questions, if they're not going to send you the list of questions before you get to the interview so you can answer them, and then, like, there's just so little control in the hands of the interviewer nowadays, honestly, that the rapper can just run amok through the interviewer. Whatever he wants to do, how they want to edit it, everything is in the rapper's hands, because the interviewer has pretty much no power. Rappers don't have to go there. If I'm
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's all it is. Like, a rap if they want to interview, either a rapper gonna agree or not, bro. Like, it is what it is, bro. Or just, if they do the interview and they ask them some hard questions, then you already know they're gonna say, man, I'm done with it. They just walk out. And then they probably gonna get that clip right there. They gonna get that clip right there as he walking out, and just keep it moving, bro.
Promoting my album,
and then gonna have other rappers don't want to go on that show or do an interview with that person. So it still made the interviewers look bad. Yeah.
Not only do I not have to go specifically to a certain place to do an interview, I don't even have to do an interview. If I want to build hype, I can go on Instagram Live and do like a little quick Q&A. Or I can go to Kai Cenat's stream and dance in Kai Cenat's room for.
Yeah, see, what I'm saying, I believe they're probably. I still believe some streamers gonna some rappers gonna kind of start going to the streamers, but not doing interviews, but they're gonna get the viewers to know a little more about them. Like, they can also have fun and stuff. That's what they giving out. You know what I'm saying? When I be seeing Kai doing all this, I don't watch too much of his stuff, but when he do this, it's just rappers just having fun, bro. They just being cool, having fun
for a couple hours and then promote my album that way. Like, if you're a rapper, and I'm gonna just be real, I get it though. I'm not saying this to shit on the rappers, because I get it. If I'm a rapper and let's say I got some legal troubles going on, I got a case that I just caught, an assault case, maybe even a DV case, and I have an album on the way, why would I go sit down with Charlemagne when I know Charlemagne is going to ask about that? Why would I go sit down with $1 million worth of game when, they might not ask about the case specifically, but they might try to give me some advice that I'm not trying to hear? I'm going to go to Kai Cenat stream and I'm going to dance and I'm going to hit the gritty. Why would I?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just go to these type streamers and just have fun, bro. Don't even got to talk about all that, because, streamers ain't going to, I don't think streamers going to, get them like them tough words. They just, just call him, come chill, vibe with me and stuff. Like that type stuff, man. But that's why I'm saying like some streamers they gonna be doing that. They're the same with what that dude name is, Zai and Low. When they were doing reaction and they had like coming in they vids, artists coming in their vid, reacting to their music and stuff. Hey, that was hard, man. They started it for it though.
I do any difficult interview where they're going to be asking me questions about my music where it's like, man, your music hasn't been selling that well. People are saying you fell off. How do you feel about this? No, I'm going to go dance in Kai Cenat's room, or I'm going to go bully Aiden Ross or bully Neon on stream. Like, there's just so many other options outside of interviews that it's made it so where it's like interviews aren't that necessary. And if they are going to do an interview, if a rapper is going to do an interview, they're going to control everything around it, because why wouldn't they? There's so many places they can go. Why wouldn't they go to a guy who's going to ask them easy questions? Why wouldn't they go and dance with Kai Cenat, or go on stream or go on YouTube and do 20 women versus one rapper? Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of rappers doing that. I got to start checking out the reactions to some of them too, man, because I've been seeing some of them now.
Instead of doing a difficult interview that just makes no sense. There's so
they have no rappers. I don't even know who they are.
Much media nowadays, and there's so many independent media sources popping up, like myself, to where it's like, if you're a rapper and Ebro's not going to do the interview how you want, Academics isn't going to do it how you want, Breakfast Club isn't going to do it how you want, just find somebody else who has a little bit of clout and you can get them to bend, because the interviewer is going to be a lot more likely to bend to your will if they know you don't have to do their interview. I'm more likely to be a little bit lenient, a little bit softer with the questions if I know that if I stick on these hard questions, he's not even going to do it. So not only does the rapper get a little more control, but the interviewer becomes a lot more lenient. Then on the other side of things, you have what I like to call no jumper interviews. And I don't mean this in the sense of like, every interview that No Jumper does is trash.
I mean, I don't really know too much about No Jumper. I just see like clips on Twitter when they post, and I just scroll on, bro.
Or all of these interviews are produced by No Jumper. But I mean the interviews where it's just trash TV. You're sitting there trying to get this gang member who's on the rise as a rapper to try and incriminate himself. You're trying to get him to diss his ops. Hey man, how'd you feel about Joe Schmo when he called your gang ABCDK and he said he was gonna do this to you when
That's how I somewhat used to feel when West Collar, when they used to do what that dude name is V-Lad. That's how I get the feeling with V-Lad. He was like that too, man. When V-Lad do interviews, bro, bro, I'm talking about, bro, that's all he talk about is like certain like gangs and stuff like that, bro. I'm like, man, bro, come on. And they still go on that interview. Like, man, y'all, boy.
When you pulled up. Those type of interviews, the interviews where it's very clear that the interviewer is just being super messy. And it's not really like an interview, more so of just like a let's try to get some viral clip, right?
That's all it is.
Piss this rapper off. Let's try to get this rapper to go at somebody super hard. Let's try to get this rapper maybe to even get mad at the interviewer himself. Maybe we'll get a little beef between the interviewer and the interviewee. Maybe he'll spit on the interviewer like they did at No Jumper. Maybe they'll start fighting. Maybe they'll get into an all-out argument where they're screaming just insults at each other and nothing really productive in terms of learning about that person.
Well, I said that's see, I feel like No Jumper got his whole audience. You can tell like his whole audience got to be like young, like teenagers, like probably 14. I don't know, 14 and 16, maybe 17, 18. That type of interviews in them. I mean, that's the type of audience, like 14 to 18 on up, bro. I'm guessing, bro.
Is done in the interview. That's what I mean by No Jumper interviews. Now, obviously, it's called a No Jumper interview for a reason, because they do them a lot. But in general, this is kind of a growing thing in the interview space in rap. It's kind of becoming like the baddie show of the interview game, where interviewers are just trying to stoke up beef. They're just trying to get viral clips talking about somebody else who the interviewer doesn't like or the interviewee doesn't like. And it's really just trashy, and it's kind of just like lowbrow,
low-key unprofessional
content. Like, if you're going to interview a rapper and he just so happens to be a Crip, that's fine. You can ask about it. I'm not saying you can't ask about these questions, because if they make it a big part of their personality, obviously people are going to want to know about it. But when you interview a rapper who is a Crip, let's just say, and 95% of your questions have nothing to do with rap, it's like, okay, we kind of see what you got going on here. 95% of your questions are just about gang politics. Hey, who has beef with who? Hey, can you name me some guys in your gang who have, you know, gone to jail? Like, who are some guys that you're like?
You know what I'm talking, like, feds, you know, they don't know feds are listening when feds is be listening on YouTube, bro. They watching this stuff.
Just weirdo behavior. You know the interviews I'm talking about. So we basically have two main interviews right now. No jumper interviews, and then the coddling the rapper baby interviews. These are the type of interviews that are growing into the future. These will become more prevalent because these are the interviews that people are growing up on. And these people watching these interviews, growing up on them, start to become the rappers, right? They start to become rappers. The people who grew up watching No Jumper are becoming rappers nowadays. And they're doing interviews like that. Interviews where you see Boot Gang high out of his mind and he's falling all over the wall and they're still recording. Like, these are the interviews that we grew up
Hey, good, he changed though.
watching, so they're becoming more and more prevalent. Or we end up with situations like $1 Million Worth of Game where all of their episodes are like 2 hours and then they go and interview YoungBoy and it's like a 20-minute episode because it's been edited down so much by YoungBoy's team. Like, these are the type of interviews that we're starting to get more and more often, even from people, like I said, with $1 Million Worth of Game, who they do pretty solid interviews, but sometimes when you get with a rapper that's so big and you still want to do that interview, you have to bend to their rules and just basically shave down all of your interview, take it all the way apart and make it to where it's perfect for the team and it makes the rapper look just good enough and everything is coddled perfectly to them. They're a baby sucking on a teat. It's just perfect for them. Like, this is the type of interview that is becoming more and more prevalent. And honestly, overall, just in general, not only are those two things becoming more prevalent, we just have started to lose the necessity of interviews. When's the last time a rap interview went super viral? I mean, like, took over the internet. Maybe like the Lil Durk Academics thing. That's probably the last like super big one. But interviews just aren't as necessary as they used to be. There's so many more avenues for fans to engage with rappers outside of their music about their real life or about other things, to where it's like interviews are great and they can be great, but they're just not that necessary anymore. That's why you can get somebody like Drake, literally the biggest rapper in the world, not doing a rap interview for like 5 years. Like, he just doesn't need to. He'll go do Bobby Altoff and the Caleb Presley dude, but like,
Oh, bro, I just saw that, bro, man. Like, I just saw on Twitter people were talking about her, man. Like, she don't do interviews. She still do interviews. She still do like podcasts, but she don't do podcasts like, you know, the algorithm ain't showing, you know, she pretty much doing, you know, interviewing certain people now. You get what I'm saying? Like, she ain't interviewing, you know, a certain audience anymore. She doing the, you know what I'm saying, like the other audience. I guess like her kinds of audience. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah, the algorithm.
interviews about his music and his artwork, like, he just doesn't need to do anymore. And I think that interviews will slowly become more trashy, more coddled, and just less necessary. And I hope that's not the case, because I love a good interview is one of the best watches on the internet, in my opinion. A good interview is like one of the best things ever. But I think that interviewing culture is becoming weak and interviews are just becoming a little obsolete at the moment. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe you guys love the No Jumper interviews where they're throwing water at each other and Sharp is cussing out some lady and then, I don't know, the gang gets brought up and I don't know. Maybe you like that type of stuff. Maybe that's what's just the future. And
I said, like, only certain young audience they're gonna like that. Like, I say, like, once again, like I said, probably the age of 14, probably 18. I might say 25, but I think that's a little pushing it. I say 23. From 14 to age 23. That way you probably gotta draw the line.
I have to adjust to it. Maybe you like the interviews where it's edited 4,500 times throughout and the team is being mad at the interviewer for asking certain questions. Maybe you like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my opinion. If you agree, if you disagree, leave a like, comment down below, share, do all that. Again, let me know. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe you agree. But either way, if you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. Have a good day. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that was a good one. I like that, man. I ain't gonna hold you, but you already know, man. Link up in the description, all that good stuff, man. Let's check some more stuff out.